Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are getting ready. Practice is over. We've had 4.5 long days on Toledo Bend, and we have practiced really hard. I can't say that it is the best practice I've ever had. In fact, it's probably on the bottom end of the practices that I've had. Not because I haven't caught many fish. I have caught plenty of fish. But there's two reasons. Number one, I feel like I just didn't fish quite the way that I should have. You know, my strategy was a little bit off. And also I just didn't see the size this week. And I also need to give myself a little bit of grace here, because this lake just isn't fishing very well right now. I know that for a fact, because I got into some situations like a really killer shad spawn yesterday and fished it for 2 hours. Everything was aligning. Situations that I've seen time and time again just be gangbusters. Didn't even see a fish hit the surface. The shad did not seem to care about anything. They were just roaming around, and nothing seemed to be, eating them. So yeah, so I think something is just a little bit off. I think it has a lot to do with the high water conditions that we're dealing with. Obviously, it's not the full pool, but for this lake, full pool is actually pretty darn high. Other lakes, full pool means that once you get to full pool, yeah, you'll have some cover in the water, but it's not going to be like flooded, conditions. On Toledo Bend, one thing I didn't expect is it's a foot below full pool, but you still have like 2 foot in bushes and shoreline cover. So it's almost like it is flooded, but it isn't at full pool, which I have been corrected on previous videos when I mentioned the high water conditions. But I think it's the high water conditions, but also post spawn. I think that the fish are cycling out of the spawn and going into post spawn mode, and there's always that like week or two after the fish really move off the beds where there's a really tough bite. And I think that that's exactly what we're dealing with. And 3 weeks ago they had a BFL out here, and it took under 12 pounds to get a check there, which on this lake is really low. So obviously things are just not fishing like they normally would out here. I've never really fished here in a tournament, but I know for a fact, being right next to Rayburn, which I have a lot of experience out there, this place has them, and it's a big bass factory. So they live here, and I just got to go find them. So my strategy for this tournament, I don't mind saying it because I'm not on anything special, but what I have decided after 4.5 days of really struggling to find different types of patterns in different areas is that really I just need to bear down, focus on my strengths, and go to work. I feel very confident in my ability to have success shallow if there is success to be had shallow. And so I'm going to be picking up some top waters, doing a little bit of flipping and pitching. I'm going to be doing a lot of different shallow things to get my bites, and I do feel like I can have a really good shot at a limit, and hopefully we get around that 12-pound benchmark. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, and I don't think that 12 pounds a day is going to get a check in this event. In fact, I'm positive it's not going to get a check in this event. It's probably going to be around that 13.5 pound range because it's only top 40 here. But the 12 pounds is a key benchmark for me, minimum benchmark, because it really keeps me in the points. If I caught 12 pounds a day, I'd probably finish in the 60s or 70s. And that is an okay finish. It may not be a check, but that is a okay finish. So that is my focus first and foremost. Now, once we start getting those fish in the boat and we reach our 12-pound, minimum goal, we're pouring some gasoline on the fire, and we're going to be getting to work and hopefully work up to a bigger bag. But we've got to get that decent limit, over 10-pound limit in the boat. That is the key. So I've actually been asked the question, am I gonna go for a limit first off, right off the bat? No, I'm not just going for a limit. Now, honestly, if I had that option, I've got a couple areas where I could just go catch a limit, but I don't, they're not on the way to my main areas. So I'm not going to take any time out of my day to go try to catch a limit of spots, which there's plenty in here, or, some small largemouth that are in some of these schools that are offshore. Not only that, but the morning bite has not been as strong as the evening bite. So, I don't know if it would be worth it anyways to go do that. So I'm just going to go fish, junk fish up shallow, work hard, keep that motor guide on high all day, and just pick the areas apart. I'm pretty dialed in on the type of banks that I need to be fishing, and that's a really big key. So yesterday I kind of spent some extra time with the trolling motor in the water and a bait in the water, just trying to eliminate, some of these areas. And there's definitely some areas that just do not have fish on them. And so obviously I want to avoid those. So that's going to be a big key to having success shallow, is because there's not a whole lot of opportunities. I need to remain very, very efficient. So, eliminating a lot of those banks was really key in practice. And so I think that if we focus on those areas that definitely check all the boxes, and we fish clean, we should have some opportunities, even though I didn't get to see any big ones in practice. But that may just mean I'm due for some big bites. And what I mean by big is anything over 4 pounds. Honestly, if I caught a couple 4-pounders, 4-pound plusers, I'd be ecstatic, because that's better by far than anything that I've seen during practice so far. But yeah, I really, as stressful and full of anxiety as I've been throughout this week because of how things haven't unfolded how I expected, I'm at peace right now, and I'm really excited to get out there to do what I do best. And that's one of the things that I've learned over the years is, and we don't know how this tournament's going to end up. I could end up, gaining some momentum by, fishing the way that I'm expecting to fish, pick up on a key little ingredient that I didn't pick up during practice, and start waylaying. That can happen. But one thing that I've learned about these tougher tournaments where things just aren't coming easy is the worst thing you can do is to continue just trying a bunch of stuff. And just, unless you're not on anything at all, you haven't got any bites or anything like that, you just don't want to be running around frantic. You want to pick up some type of bait, some type of technique that you're really confident in, that you enjoy throwing, and just get to work. Because when it's not easy, you can make those really key adjustments with things that you do have a lot of confidence in. When, if you're trying to force something that is technically the deal on a lake, like right now, guys are going out there and live scoping, the timber and stuff like that. Not going to be where I'm going to do well, in this event, because it's just not my wheelhouse. I'll be constantly questioning myself, and I'll maybe making bad decisions and won't be able to make good, timely decisions. But shallow, I surely know exactly what to pick up for every situation. And so that's where I need to be. But anyways, I'm over explaining my strategy for tomorrow, but overall I am looking forward to it. I said it before, but I'm going to say it again. Very stressful practice. Have not, made a lot of good practice decisions. My strategy was a little bit off this week, but we're going to make the best of it. I've had plenty of tournaments that are just like this after practice and have good tournaments. So anyways, guys, thank you for keeping up with all the action. We've got Bassmaster.com tomorrow. You can watch Bass Track and keep up with that. I will be keeping up with Bass Track if I have cell phone reception. Some of these areas, I don't have any cell phone reception. So just keep that in mind. but I'm really going to try to keep up with Bass Track, so hopefully there will be a bunch of stuff to report. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching, and we're going to see what we can do out here on Toledo Bend. And I'm definitely going to do one thing, and that is to trust the process. So I'm going to see you guys out on the water. Take care.